Hello, recording.
Yes. Welcome to the Magento podcast. If you're here for the 10th time, we love and appreciate you. I don't know what we're gonna call our followers. Are they Magento also?
Yes, Magentlemen and Magento ladies. Ladies and Magentlemen.
You say what?
Ladies and Magentlemen? Or Magento ladies?
Magento ladies. That sounds funny. It sounds like you're saying my gentle ladies.
My lady.
So you want me to touch on my week and what's going on
Yes.
before
I hear you have a mold situation.
Yeah, so our bathroom, not the main bathroom, or not the bathroom that's in the master bedroom, the guest bathroom was looking the walls were looking a little bit weird for like a couple weeks back, and we like brought it up to the landlord and we said, hey, that looks like mold on the wall. And he came and he cleaned it up and he said, well, I don't know, I don't think, where would the water come from? It doesn't look like there's a leak. And then so he like cleaned it up, and then a couple weeks later it came again. And then basically now it's like full blown, like just mold on the wall. And then they just like had to come in and cut the wall and like remove the toilet, just to like because apparently the toilet wasn't installed correctly, and that's how the water seeped like underneath the tiles and got into the walls. I don't know. I'm not a plumber, man. I was just a cable guy once upon a time. So
what color was the mold?
Black.
Black. That's the bad kind.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen any other color mold, but
I had like a weird like pink slime that would grow in one of my bathrooms.
Yeah.
It was weird. I thought it was hair gel. And my girl's like, I don't use hair gel. She's like, who else do you have up in here? And I was like, nobody.
It's definitely mold, baby.
Yeah, we figured out because like we cleaned it off really well. And for whatever reason, like, and I even looked online, like it's some special weird mold that like after you take a shower or whatever and make it wet, it shows up again.
Oh man, you had that special mold, not just regular mold.
You got to look
Kudos
it up. Kudos
to you.
Yeah. Well, at least it wasn't black mold. This kind I had was like, you don't worry too much about it.
It's a pink, okay mold, non-threatening mold.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever played like Final Fantasy or anything, but it's like the gelatinous cube or whatever comes to get you.
Oh, I don't know. Does it look like Kirby?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
or I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Is it Margin Buu from Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, I don't know that name either. I was more of
You ever watched Dragon Ball Z?
I watched some of it.
Who are you?
No, I watched some.
This I would say old guy, but then I would but then I'm like, wait, Dragon Ball Z
is old.
It's old. It kind of transcended time and people. I thought it was from the 90s, right? Well, is it? Yeah, it is from the 90s. I was watching it in the 2000s because I was born in the 90s.
Yeah.
So So anyway, I thought it was from the 2000s when I was watching it. And
yeah, I know. I mean, I was like into Simpsons and stuff. I wasn't.
Oh, you can watch The Simpsons and watch Dragon Ball Z. No,
I'm just saying,
that excuse will not fly today, sir.
I know.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, I know Goku is cool, and it's like when they fight, they like cause planets to explode. They hit so hard that the planet will break in half.
I don't know if the planets break in half, but they cause like these huge, like they'll break up like huge cities and stuff. But
What's the
anyway,
Z? What is the Z?
huh?
Well, I want to know. Like
I
I know what a Dragon Ball is, obviously.
I have no idea what the Z stands for.
Ha. Okay. Who should be ashamed now?
So you know?
No. But if I was into that show, I would think I would know what the name means.
All I'm saying is that's like every person's childhood. And you're not that much older than me, even though I called you old. How
I'm
how old are you again?
at least 15 years older than you. I'm 36.
36? So you're 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. We have
Okay.
some pretty young people working. I wasn't sure how young exactly you were.
Yeah. But oh, you thought I was still 20? Come on, man.
No, plus I'm bad at math. Like quick.
Oh man. Anyway. Anyway, well, that proves to anyone that thinks you need to be a math genius.
No, it's not needed. That's what calculators are for.
But
But how would you program your calculators?
Yeah, how would you?
I actually bought a book recently called The No BS, and it uses the actual words, Guide to Math. And it goes through all the basically the stuff I didn't pay much attention to in high school.
Yeah.
But in a way that kind of is easier to understand and
Oh man.
practical.
So my friend who I tried to get into programming maybe 2 years ago, before I had even landed a job. No, not more than two. No, it was more than 2 years ago. Probably like 3 or 4 years ago. Basically, he saw me reading a C++ book, and he thought it was calculus. So he thought it was calculus plus plus. And he thought that was a prerequisite to becoming a software engineer.
So he was never mind. I don't want to do that.
So he said that's one of the reasons why he didn't try to become a developer sooner, because he thought he had to know some advanced math. Anyway, pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably, I don't know, did you do much math in college?
Yes, I did up to Cal 2.
Yeah. Calculus has a lot to do with moving objects and vectors and stuff, right?
That's more physics.
Oh, trigonometry, I think.
So I know there's a lot of trig and calculus applied in physics.
Okay.
So when it comes to determining the direction of, doing physics calculations, then you'd apply those math skills to solve certain problems. So maybe that's what you mean. But calculus is derivatives and trying to, anyway, not gonna get into all that.
Well, Stevie, your head is cut off.
Yeah, I know. It's because, again, I am not in my office.
Oh, okay, because of the mold thing.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So yes, because of the mold thing, I have had to change my setup. So I'm not in the area where that is at, because I think I have a mold allergy and it gives me headaches and stuff. So yeah.
It's all good. So I was talking earlier with my wife, and I think I'm going to start branding myself as Magento Steve.
Magento Steve? And what the hell am I going to be?
You're just regular old Steve. Steve B.
But okay, sure. Why do you want to go in that direction?
I don't know. I just think, and
I'm gonna bend down a little bit so that.
Nah, you're good. I'll scoot up higher, and there we go. We're both. I don't know. I just think branding and name recognition,
So you're just gonna take the name for yourself. Okay.
And we'll
I
open the
see you.
podcast and I'll say, I'm Magento Steve.
And I'm just regular Steve. Okay. Cool.
I see. That's what
You
I told
call up.
her. I'm like, I don't think like it would work, and that's a good branding method. But we're the Magento Men, and we're Steve B and Steve T.
Yeah.
I don't
Because they're
know.
gonna be like, that's the real Magentleman right there. He's just an imposter. He's just a part of it. No,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you want to do that, that's totally fine.
Huh.
I'll just come up with my own cool moniker, like Super Magento Steve or something.
Yeah. Because there's that guy on LinkedIn, Magento Man, right? Have you seen him?
Yeah. No, I have not seen him, but I actually like had that idea, kind of like a Magento superhero, like
Taken.
to okay. Well,
He plays the
obviously,
part pretty well.
obviously, you know, they're not. I'm just kidding, but I don't know about it. I've
Yeah,
never
look it
seen
up.
it. I've never seen him.
He's pretty
So,
cool. He's like a superhero type of guy. I get the feeling he was more active during Magento 1, but maybe I could be wrong about that.
oh, so he retired. He's not
No,
saving
he's
Magento
still
stores.
around. I mean, I think he like thumbs up and celebrates people when they get their um certifications.
Cool, cool. That and this podcast is kind of just going in a completely different direction, right? So
Dude,
anyway,
I wanted to talk about ghosts and aliens. So this podcast is on track. I was gonna bring it up, but
compared to the direction it could have went
I
in,
was
right?
hoping for it to go. Yeah, we're totally on track. We're talking about Magento.
So, so is you don't think it's a bit weird how like Magento kind of has this like cult in a way? I don't know um 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 if other technologies kind of have like the same community, um you know engagement, where there's like some person literally calling themselves um you know Magento Man, or I don't know, Python Man, or Django Man or something like that.
Oh yeah, I would say Magento has a very weak community.
You think so?
Yeah, like compared to Drupal or WordPress. Yeah, man. Look
Is there a
on
WordPress Man?
yeah, look on like LinkedIn. I mean not LinkedIn. Meetup.com. It
Mm-hmm.
gives you a good indicator that like in our area we could find meetups for WordPress and Drupal or JavaScript, let's say. But that's not a good example. WordPress and Drupal are kind of comparative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's no meetups for Magento. There's no
Well,
there's no community. I mean,
well,
we have
we
one, but
yeah.
it's not. It's basically non-existent. There's training programs for both of
Oh
those
man,
technologies.
I
There's
put that meetup on my resume, and now you're saying it's nothing. That touched a. I'm just kidding.
no, but we're at the very beginning of like
Yeah, yeah.
community building process with Magento, when really it's a pretty old technology. Like there should be an existing community. There should be awesome training programs, which Mark Just has something that's, I mean, he's got like 3 courses, you know? And so,
Yeah, I think the thing is that the barrier to entry is higher, um, for Magento, just because of how tough it is, right? And then Magento is very niche, I would
yeah,
say. It's
yeah,
very okay. If you're building a Magento site, you're probably building a e-commerce store. Versus WordPress, right? You can go in the blog direction, or you can throw the WooCommerce plugin on there and go in a um in an e-commerce direction. But more
right.
people, there are more bloggy, informational type of sites than e-commerce sites, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that, I guess I am just saying that to answer your question, there is more fans and geeks and nerds and superhero personas
Yeah.
out there for other technologies.
I have not come across them.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
I'm just biased.
Yeah. Well, you're
And I
just
just see the WordPress people and ignore them.
yeah.
WordPress? What's that? Word?
Well, and I'm not honestly.
Dash
I'm talking
press?
about Drupal.
Is it word_press?
Yeah, because I mean, Drupal won't just have meetups, right? They will have
Yeah.
camps every year, right? So
Yeah.
it's a full-blown community-driven thing where the camp happens every year, and it's in every area. So like multiple cities in each state will have their own full-blown camps every year. The whole country, the whole world is, progressing this thing along, and everybody is really interested in it and cares about it. And
Yeah.
Magento
I mean,
is
I don't even know who uses Drupal.
I don't know.
No.
Honestly,
But seriously, what sites? I've never used Drupal to build anything. What industries are Drupal heavy?
well, I mean, just anything where you might need a powerful content management system.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've even seen where people will use Drupal for the CMS, Magento for the commerce.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times if you're on Drupal, you might try to do your commerce using some kind of a Drupal commerce module. They have that type of stuff. But I mean, again, you'll see it too a lot of times where they'll have Magento for the commerce and WordPress for the blog, and just have the one site with two things stitched together, and let each thing do what it's good at, type of thing.
Yeah, I would advise that you let Magento do its thing, because Magento is the best e-commerce solution out there. Okay,
But you wouldn't want to
it's not
leave.
because I'm a Magento developer.
No. But
I'm not biased at all.
if you had very high end requirements for the CMS and the way the content administration is supposed to be, and not just requirements for how the front end should end up working and looking, but how the administrators are able to access things and setting permissions and all this stuff, you're just not going to want to build that in Magento. Like, you
definitely
have to tell them it's going to be a year or two before I can deliver this to you. Whereas with Drupal, it's like, oh yeah, well, it does that already. What's the thing that you need me to customize?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about Drupal, but I would say the same thing applies to WordPress, right? It's a lot. It's a lot easier to set up WordPress. It's more geared towards content management. It's easy to extend upon your vanilla WordPress installation, right? You can install a plugin very easily, versus M2. I don't know for M1, but M2, you install a module, something's going to be broken. I would say
use Amnesty, okay? Shout out to the best module creators.
I would say that 90% of the time, modules do not work as intended out of the box. Either a layout issue, or something doesn't work in admin. Some weird error is going to show up. So you need a developer to get involved. I've installed plugins for WordPress and they seem to work. No issue. I'm not talking smack about Magento. I'm just saying it's harder for the layman to manage a Magento store, or for someone to just get out of school or know a little bit about technology and get involved with M2.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said though too, it's really just like, you want Magento to do what Magento is great at, and you don't want to make it into something else completely, which that's where you kind of get into, well, let's integrate Drupal, or let's integrate WordPress or something, where they're basically asking you for Drupal or WordPress, and you're going to be like, well, okay, I could try to build that with Magento. It's like, no. Please don't do that. Just also use Drupal or WordPress along in this project.
Yeah.
Because that's what it would be, is that you have people who have used either WordPress or Drupal in the past. So they're coming with those requirements like, hey, I want to do this, I want to work like that. And if you don't give them Drupal or WordPress what they're kind of expecting, then you're going to be in a world of hurt for a long time to turn Magento into that. And
Yeah.
nobody wins, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say Magento is a horrible CMS though.
sorry, I have a visitor. Go to mommy. Run, run, run. Okay. But it does lead us, I think, into our topic as far as, so our topic is working at an agency versus working at a merchant. And I think working at an agency, you might have like requirements like that, right? Where
yeah.
people will come and they will say, well, and that's kind of at an agency, you have that beginning part of the process where you're getting to pull their requirements out of them, and they are getting to kind of pitch what they want for their new website or their new feature. Whereas working at a merchant, it's kind of more like the person is the person requesting the features or the update is more intimately familiar with the development team and what kind of things they can expect and what, I mean, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, from so when you work at an agency, unless it's a long like a client that you've worked with previously, that client may have unrealistic expectations, unrealistic timelines, and then they're coming into this process as an alien, right? Trying to figure out, okay, well, what does this, if you guys do this thing, what would the end result be? Or if you do this thing, how would that turn out? And you kind of have to walk them through that. I mean, you kind of do the same thing when you work for a company, but maybe that company has been around for X amount of years and they've worked with a dev team for so much time, and they know that, well, we can't just throw up a Shopify site right next to our Magento site and then make them talk to each other in 2 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you kind of have, first of all, like you said, at an agency, there's two kinds of clients. One is the new build, which happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's happening all the time. That's where I think most of the business at an agency is like, we're building you a new theme or new version of your website. Maybe it's migration, replatform, whatever. And then there's also the clients though that are like or maintenance clients, right? Where it's like you're their development team. So that's from my experience, that's not a ton of that,
Mm-hmm.
but that does happen too, where you're their development team. So you'll just do work for them like you would normally at a merchant. I've worked at merchants that are really on the ball, and they have strong like Scrum and Agile, and they know, look, if I request these things, my team is going to go through a process of creating estimates, give those estimates back to me, and then they can execute them. But then I've also worked at merchants where they just throw requirements over the wall at the dev team, and the dev team is like, at some merchants, they don't really care what your estimate is, because to them it's like, well, just do it as soon as you can. Here's like my list of higher priorities, right? So at some merchants, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go through the process of like estimating and giving back the amount of time that it's going to take and being like, what do you think? Because really I guess there's a higher chance at a merchant that really the development process isn't understood, or it doesn't take a very high priority in their mind. So
Mm-hmm.
you end up kind of in a much more waterfall type of flow, which is fine, where it's just like, look, these are the things I want to get done. I, you know, I want rough estimates about how quick they can take, and here's my priority. And then you just go ahead and try to bust it out as quick as you can.
Yeah. I mean, working, what would you say, and I would imagine working at an agency, and I'm saying this, I'm just going to be in only as a developer, not me doing anything outside of that.
Okay.
so so you who has worked for an agency, would you say one is more stressful than the other, or is one more demanding than the other one?
I mean, they are in different ways, just because like, so at an agency, the big stressful thing is that you give these, you set the expectations, right? You say during planning poker or whatever, look, these things that we sold or that we're about to sell are going to take this long. And then it's up to you to make sure those things happen that quickly, right? So there's that. But then there's also a level of separation at an agency between like the development team and the end customer, the merchant, right? So things can break down, communication can go poorly, and the dev team never gets the brunt of that. It goes to the PM or the person who's interacting with the customer, right? So any stress or weirdness, craziness that the merchant might be doing is getting blocked off from the development team, right?
Yeah.
For the most part. And you would hope at a good agency, if the client keeps doing that, they might get fired, right? If they're weird and they have these crazy demands. Whereas at a merchant, those people are right in your face. They are your bosses.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they, and I guess in a good tech department, the CTO would shield you from that even.
Yeah.
But it comes down right on him or her. And so there's just a different kind of stress. Whereas, I mean, I've seen at agencies too, where if you get behind or something didn't go as planned, it's like overtime craziness time, which is to be expected. That happens at merchants too. But it's like, you cannot disappoint the client, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm because I mean, to rationalize it, or like kind of paint a clear picture of it from a client perspective. The company or the agency is this entity, right? It's not a single developer. They can't just walk in there and say Steve T didn't deliver X feature. It's like ABC agency sucks, right? It's not, oh well, I mean, they don't care who's the front end developer, who's the back end developer, who does the designs or anything like that. They're just like, look, you guys aren't delivering, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, so there is definitely, in my experience, where like, especially creative, will kind of have their own relationship with the customer,
Uh-huh.
because they have to work pretty closely with someone on the customer side to get the sign off and the requirements on like, this is the look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, it could be a tech lead or a front end. I was a front end tech lead at an agency where it's like, you kind of have to work with them directly, whereas going through a PM or going through someone on the agency side to get the requirements or to get everything, you kind of have to work directly with them. But then at a certain point, it's like, once everything is locked in and you've kind of got their requirements and they're signed off and the contract's all signed, then it kind of shifts back over into like, well, you kind of, they have to go through the proper channels of communications, and we all have to agree, you know, live with this agreement that we made. And it's not like you don't want to do, let's say, some new thing. It almost always happens where you're getting close to being done and someone notices, oh, this thing didn't get done, or wouldn't it be great if it did this other way, right? It's not that you don't want to do it, and if it's quick and easy, sure, let's throw it in there. It's just like, also, if it takes hours or days or something, we have to adjust the contract or add more time, and it becomes a bigger thing. Whereas at a merchant, it would just be like,
well, it's not gonna happen.
or just do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I need
Well,
that feature, and I still need you to hit the deadline. I'm the
yeah.
boss, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, okay, lame.
Well, the thing is though, I think at an agency, it's like, okay, we need to, we have this budget for this client. If we work an extra week, now we're in the red.
Right.
Right. That's the thought process. Versus at a company, it's more of like, well, this is our dev team.
Yep.
And they ran into an issue and they need to get it done. So they're not thinking about, oh, we're in the red or blah, blah, blah. They're just thinking, well, it sucks that it got delayed.
I think some merchants might think like that. And I think they probably should think like that. But I've definitely run into some that don't. And that they just think, hey, I don't care if we're a few days from being done with the thing that we planned. I now have this new idea, and I need the thing that we planned to change and to be like this and to hit that deadline. And it's like,
oh,
okay, like that can't always work, but sometimes they just expect that. And it's a little easier at an agency to kind of say, we can try, but we got to do a contract update and all this stuff.
There's a lot more red tape for sure.
Yeah.
Because the client has to agree to amend the budget or whatever, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I guess for me, that those are the main differences. You're still a developer. You still want to deliver the best product that you can. Also, a lot of times you may not be maintaining the thing forever. And I just want to say, it looks like we're about to run out of time.
When did that start happening?
Zoom. I don't know. We're hitting our mark.
Okay, so we're gonna call it. We're gonna end it here. You wanted to do a shorter segment anyway.
Yeah.
We can continue this. We can do a part 2. But so, thank you guys for watching. Once again, like, subscribe if you haven't already. And we hope to see you on the next one, or we hope that you watch the next one.
Yes.
So, bye.
Later.